What do you want the people to know about Moldova?
First of all, I want people to know about Moldova is that we are not that poor country as people think about us.
When you tell people we're from Moldova, they think you're from Maldives, and it's a good joke to laugh about.
My name is Codrina, I'm 20 years old and I am from Republic of Moldova. Now I am in Bucharest and I am studying political science at the University of Bucharest.
I'm Adrian, I'm living in Moldova. I'm a winemaker and general manager of Castelmimi winery in the countryside.
Welcome to Moldova. Bordered by Romania to the west and by Ukraine to the north, east and south, the country is miles away from the white sand beaches of the Maldives. Here, Soviet architecture and agricultural lands draw the postcard of one of the poorest countries in the European continent.
In Moldova we have not a good position economically speaking.
You can feel that every day. You see the possibilities of people, how many times they even travel or even what they are buying, what they have, what they afford to. You can see the pension, how it's not so big or even very low.
About salary, in Moldova we have like the media is like 200 euros per month, and in Romania, if I'm not wrong, it's like 400.
In terms of economic terms, you can see that the country is not the richest one. However, we have big possibilities. We are on the way. We're growing each year.
Marked by its reputation, things were actually turning around for Moldova. In 2021, the country had one of the fastest GDP growth rates in Europe, but it's since suffered a strong economic shock after the Ukraine war began. The country managed to raise the minimum wage by 25% in 2023, but it's still far from providing the quality of life of its neighbour, Romania. The two countries have a long shared history. In 1812, Moldova used to be named Bessarabia. It remained part of the Russian Empire until 1917, when it declared its independence. In 1918, together with 5 other regions, Bessarabia joined Romania to form Greater Romania. In 1940, this territory was divided by the Soviet Union. Occupied Moldova became the Moldavian Soviet Socialist Republic until the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. In the month of August of that year, the Republic of Moldova, modern Moldova, declared its independence. Living under Russian influence for a long time, Moldova now seeks to move away from that heritage and closer to the rest of the world, especially Europe.
We had times that we have 90-something%, we exported everything to Russia. Before, in 2000s, about 99% of the wine were exported to Russia. And fruits and everything like that. Politically, there have been some changes that created Russian embargoes. This gave us a new challenge of getting into new markets.
My grandpa used to be pro-Russian before the war in Ukraine, and it was this generational gap, and we always fight on this topic. People are still don't understand the importance to go in European Union. They still want to go with Russia.
Even my father was joking. When I started to work, he was saying every time, it doesn't work like Europe here. It doesn't feel like Europe here. We as Castelmimi are close somehow to the European Union. First of all, because we exported a lot of wine there. Second of all, because we are visited a lot by European tourists. And of course, because we hosted the APC summit on 1st of June, so everybody was with the eyes on us.
The summit that Adrian mentioned reunited 45 heads of state and 4 EU officials at Castelmimi, some 45 kilometers away from Chisinau, Moldova's capital. an even bigger sign that the country wants to get closer to the European Union.
Our commitment is to make Moldova ready for EU accession by the end of this decade.
For us was, and for all the country, was very important. And after this event, Moldova became the candidate of being of the European Union.
The announcement was made 6 months later. In December of 2023, the EU opened accession negotiations with Moldova at the same time as Ukraine.
I was waiting for so many years for this, and I think it came on the right time because it was like a fast decision.
It's what we were waiting for. Today government is planning in 2030 to be part of the European Union. They do a lot of changes for that. We as a company feel that changes in terms of laws, and we try to adapt. And we try to change our mentality, becoming European before getting into Europe, so it will be more, for us it will be more easier to be part of the new family.
We signed the contract that we want to go in EU after Ukraine, but at the same time I think we have a chance, like we have something ours, and my son is doing a great work on this file actually.
Since becoming president of Moldova in 2020, pro-European politician Maia Sandu has made joining the EU one of her priorities. She's now launched a campaign to promote a referendum to push Moldova's accession to the EU. At the end of 2024, she will be up for re-election.
I am a little bit worried about elections from autumn because it is a hard position of our country now, and I'm a little bit worried, but at the same time I have hope that we have that type of president, and I know she has the power to do something with it, so I trust her.
In reality, Moldova already has one foot in the EU thanks to the Romanian passport. Since 2009, Moldovans who can prove that their ancestors lived on the territory of Greater Romania can obtain Romanian nationality and therefore a European passport. By 2021, 1 in 4 Moldovans had Romanian nationality.
If I have a Romanian passport, yeah, I have one. I have since, let's see, 2020, before the COVID, I get it, because I feel myself as a Romanian, and I was thinking to go in Romania to study, so I thought that it will be more easier to come with a Romanian passport, and all my family actually has Romanian passport, so
everything is easier with European passport, and we're using it also for traveling a lot, for business as well.
With a Moldovan one, I need visa to go actually everywhere, almost.
While the passport makes it easier for Moldovans to leave the country, many left without it. In 30 years, the country has lost 40% of its population, largely due to the exodus of Moldovans who chose Italy, Germany, France and Belgium as their main host countries. Fleeing the country for economic reasons is the norm for many families, and most children have grown up without one of their parents.
I grew up without my dad because he was working in Russia. 7 years I grew up without him. It was so hard because I remember well that in that period we didn't have like phones. We spoke on Skype, but like once or twice a week. Actually, he was working for us, like for us to have money and conditions. My mom gone, but for a short period when I was little, like 3 months. I was missing her crazy. I mean, I think it was the most hardest situation in my life. If you try to understand them, you will find out that they are working and they are doing this sacrifice for you.
Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Moldova has made headlines due to Transnistria, an unrecognized breakaway state on its southeastern border with Ukraine. Let's take a step back. In the early 90s, as Moldova declared its independence, Transnistria refused to leave the USSR. Following a short war, the region declared itself an independent state, and Russian troops settled there permanently. Today, Transnistria has a population of almost 500,000 people, has its own government, army and currency, yet it is not recognized by any United Nations member state, not even by Russia.
If you see the river Dnistru, on the other side it's Transnistria.
Transnistria doesn't want to cooperate with Moldova. Moldova, it's part of Moldova, but I mean with Chisinau.
A lot of politicians trying to get that part of Moldova back to the country and to stop the Russian influence there. For us, we don't need that. It's very close to us right now even. It's like a few kilometers from us. We feel safe about that. We have many people working for us from Bendera and Tiraspol because of the small wages that they have there, and we pay better in Moldova.
Somehow I have the hope that they will become part of Moldova, which they are, obviously. This is the biggest problem for us to go in European Union. I don't know if it will be possible in the next 3 years, 4, 5.
It may take even longer than that. For instance, it took Croatia 8 years to join the EU. Moldova is likely to have a long way to go. In the run-up to negotiations with the EU, the country says it embarked on Brussels-imposed reforms, especially on the justice system and in the fight against corruption. The challenge now is to ensure that all this progress takes root over time, so that Moldova can free itself from its clichés.
We were categorized as the neighbor of Ukraine. However, of course, we would like to be known as a wine country, as a big producer, even we are very small, because this is the product that is pushing us the most all over the world.
If you give a chance to Moldova, for sure it will be in your good, because it's a small country, but it has something to give to you, so give it a chance.